This morning I'd like to welcome Andy Thorburn, CEO of EMIS, who is here to discuss the company's financial year 2019 results. Hello, Andy.
Good morning.
Could you talk us through the highlights of your full year results?
Yeah, I'd be delighted to do so. So we had a very strong year for EMIS Group in 2019. I'm really pleased with the overall performance, both from a financial point of view and also from an operational point of view. And I want to just take this opportunity to thank my colleagues across EMIS Group for the tremendous hard work last year across a number of fronts. So just in terms of headlines, revenue advanced by 7% and recurring revenue increased by 4%. So that was pleasing on the top line. And then our adjusted operating profit, which is the key metric for the company, advanced by 9% year on year. So that was a strong performance. And then I'm delighted to confirm for the 10th year running, we've increased our dividend by 10%. So that will be delivered to shareholders in due course. So from a financial point of view, a good year for us. And I was really pleased with the way that the company operated in the period. In terms of the overall highlights, there's a lot to cover actually, because we've had an incredibly busy year as we look to execute on multiple fronts as we look at our midterm growth strategy. So good news on general leadership in our key NHS markets. So market shares were maintained. And in fact, this year we moved into outright leadership in the community pharmacy market, which again was pleasing. Very importantly, we were retained on the English GP-IT Futures framework. That's for primary care or GP practices. And that was a very important milestone for the company, which we highlighted previously to the market, that we felt we were well positioned and we managed to execute on that. And also we're delighted to say we were also included in the Scottish framework. That's the NSS framework, which covers Scottish primary care services. So those were two strategic goals for us and we're delighted to achieve those. We also worked hard on completing our internal transition. So that was changing our organisation to be more customer focused, but also reducing some overhead areas in terms of management layers and admin staff, and investing the freed up cash into development. So we're increasing our development resources once again through 2019 and 2020, and we expect round about 45% of our headcount to be directly involved in building new products as we move through this year, which is a big increase over the last couple of years. We also had a strong year in our patient access business. So registered users up 8.4 million from 6 million a year ago. And we continue to develop our marketplace opportunity there, which again is encouraging. We completed the ProScript Connect rollout. That's our dispensing system in community pharmacy. And we previously alerted the market that we'd finished our retail side of that. We've now covered our wholesale customers as well. So that rollout has gone very well and shows our ability to deliver on large scale tech transformations. We're also continuing to invest in EMIS-X, which will be our integrated care platform. And that continues to move on nicely with lots of effort and modules being completed. We expect the first applications to be launched in 2021, which was as previously noted. We also, just beyond the end of the year, we acquired a small business, Pinnacle, which is in the community pharmacy space. And that adds to our community pharmacy portfolio. And the company focus on clinical commissioning groups, reporting and analysis, and validation of particular processes there. So overall, a strong year for us, both financially and operationally. And again, thank you to the EMIS Group team. They did a fine job in 2019.
And could you give us a little bit more detail on the financial performance on a divisional basis?
Yeah, so the company is now focused on two real segments. One is EMIS Health, which really focuses on our NHS customer base. And that goes across GP practices, community working, acute trusts and such like. And the second is our EMIS Enterprise business, which looks at non-direct NHS revenue, so such as partners, such as community pharmacy. And we also include the early stage business Patient there, which is a consumer facing business. So on the EMIS Health side, modest growth this year. so just a touch up from revenue terms from last year, and slightly down in profit terms, but that's because we're investing for the future, predominantly in the EMIS-X platform build. So that side of our business performed to expectations. We expected a modest year, but we've consolidated our market share positions and we're investing for the future. On the enterprise side, so the private sector side, if we use that term, had a strong year, which is what we expected. Community pharmacy moving through strongly, patient making progress, and also making progress with some interesting commercial deals we've done in the partner space. So stronger year this time for enterprise, predictable year for EMIS Health, and overall combining to give us a good set of results for the group.
Okay, and could you give us an update on how GP IT Futures has developed since the start of the year?
Yes, so GP IT Futures, that's our new contractual framework for our business in primary care in England, I beg your pardon. So around about 4,000 practices that we look after and provide key clinical systems for GPs in their surgeries. The good news is there's not too much to report here, which means we had a good transition from the old way of working and the old rule set, if you like, under GP systems of choice. That's the framework we've been operating for the last 5 or 6 years. And we moved seamlessly into the new world of IT Futures. We were the first company to be approved to sell our services in that side of our business. And we've moved seamlessly into the new year with no particular issues, and managing to meet our service level obligations under some changed environment, some changed rules. So slight operational changes, but nothing material. The other thing to report, I think we advised our shareholders recently, is that we're now measured, instead of practice numbers, we're measured in terms of patient numbers. So we get paid based on the number of patients we have. So therefore, if practices merge, which is happening increasingly, we don't lose out in our revenue streams, providing we maintain the overall patient numbers. So that's working very well. And as we said previously, when we announced our success here, there would be no material change in our financial numbers. And that is absolutely holding out a couple of months into this year. So good news on GP IT Futures. We continue well. We're meeting our service level obligations. We're meeting our system enhancement obligations. And I'm very pleased with the way the team have managed that transition. So good news there, but continual focus on a daily basis to make sure we look after our customers, especially in the complex times we're involved in today.
Could you give us a bit more detail on progress you've made with your EMIS-X platform?
No problem. So EMIS-X platform, so just to remind everyone, that's us building out an integrated care platform that goes across all care settings. So that would include primary care, community care, also end-of-life care. So we do quite a lot of work with hospices, for example, and also hospices caring for individuals at home. It includes pharmacy services in the hospital, and also unscheduled care, or A&E, the old-fashioned term there. So what we're doing is we're building an integrated platform that will join all those settings together, and that's a big driver for central policy in all the home countries, and especially England. So we've got a big team in that. It's progressing well, and we expect our first applications to be launched in 2021, which is our previous promise to the market. And I was really pleased to see our clinical designs around the first clinical applications are on time to a level of depth that I'm really pleased with. So we continue to progress well there. It's a complex program, and we expect 2021 to see the first things going to market.
And finally, could you give us your view on current trading, particularly in the light of coronavirus, and also your outlook on a medium-term basis?
Yes, thank you. Yes, we live in a very difficult time for the nation and also our colleagues internationally. So coronavirus is moving quickly, as we all know, and speaking here, each day there's new issues and new challenges and new advice coming out. So the most important thing to think about our trading in the short term is our customer base. So we're actually a critical supplier to the NHS and community pharmacy, who are obviously providing prescription drugs primarily, as well as local consulting services. And our priority is making sure we do the right thing for our customers. That's absolutely key, as well, of course, looking after the well-being of our employees and the broader team. So at the moment, as we speak, we have not had any short-term financial negative impacts this year, but we're only a couple of months trading. And we are anticipating some challenges as we go through the year. So we're expecting potentially that our new business sales may slow down. And just to remind you and quantify that for you, just under 80% of our business is recurring revenue. And we expect all that revenue to be maintained. We don't have any delivery challenges around that. And therefore, we're incredibly strong for our underlying revenue. So that's a recurring revenue. So each year we have to achieve around about 20% of our overall revenue in new business. And we've already secured significant amounts this year as normal. However, we do see a scenario that could slow down. So we're taking a pragmatic approach. And we expect our revenues not to advance as quickly as would have been expected, and therefore a potential impact on profits in the short term. In the medium term, we expect the business to continue to grow and thrive, and we're building for the future. And that medium-term agenda continues to be executed, even if we've got some short-term challenges. So just going back to coronavirus, some short-term new business sales impact, but nothing material to the group overall. And just to remind everyone, we have got no debt. We have got cash in the balance sheet, which is incredibly strong for us at this stage as we run the business on a conservative basis. Our recurring revenue is expected and is predominantly backed by government funding sources, either directly from the NHS or indirectly from the NHS support community pharmacy, for example. So we don't believe we'll have any payer issues at all. And then for the 20% of short-term business we have to win each year, we're thinking there could be some delay. Therefore, we'll be just trimming our expectations for this year to reflect that.
Great. Thanks, Andy, for taking the time.
No problem. No problem at all. And, obviously big focus looking after our people and our staff and our customers. That's the key for us.